Hey everybody, welcome to Superhuman Customs. I'm Stephen Human. For those of you just joining us, all I do is I customize action figures, generally McFarlane figures. I'll do some simple paint jobs, I'll do complete character revamps, whatever I feel like doing, and I invite you to come along for the journey. This is all how-to. I'm learning all this stuff as I go. I am by no means an expert, and sometimes I completely screw up, but that's part of the fun. So that's what I want to do, is have some fun. Now this is actually my 50th video. I've been doing this for about a year, one video a week, and this is number 50, and so I want to do something really special. Now I've been looking for Mr. Freeze for a little while, partially because I like that character. I have ever since I was a kid. And this sculpt from McFarlane is really, really awesome, but there's almost no paint apps at all. This guy has tons of detail. I want to make him look really awesome for this 50th video. So let's dive in and make Mr. Freeze worthy of facing down Batman. This is the image that I'm kind of using as inspiration for this version of Mr. Freeze. You can see he's darker, he's got some nice blues. So what we're gonna be using primarily here is my Deco Art, blue, whatever it's called, true blue, metallic, and we're gonna use some gunmetal gray. Now, this little dome here comes right off, which is great, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow it with that, what we saw in that picture, is that we're just gonna go through, and first things first, I'm gonna do the collar here in this blue. And I'm gonna go through here, that's what's gonna start, and then everything else here is going to be gunmetal gray. So I'm gonna try and have all these details stand out against each other. I don't want him to look too dark in any one spot. I really want him to just sing when it comes to the details. So that is what I'm going to be focused on here. Gunmetal gray is next. We got the blue in place. This I'm just going to do coverage. I'm going to basically cover most of this lighter plastic here, turn it into the gray. I'm not going to touch the more cream colored, because with that one I'm going to do the straps in a black, but this one we're going to go, and I'm going to try and make all of my brush strokes go downward, because remember, this is supposed to be metal and we want it to have that kind of grain to it, and by moving everything in the same direction, the paint is going to give a better coverage and just look better. Same thing on the legs. I'm just going to go down, try and get this covered nice and thin, and cover all of this down to this area. You can see I just started on blue here, but these are like the straps up top, so I'm actually going to go over that in black, so they're going to look a little bit different once we get moving on more of these details. Pauldrons too, same deal. Make them all this gunmetal gray. Keep your paint going in the same direction. After adding the gunmetal gray, I think I'm going to do the belt blue. Wasn't something I was planning on, but in my opinion, aesthetically, it needs it. It needs to have the blue here to just break up everything so that it doesn't look quite so monochromatic. Because the little blues here, I mean, yeah, it looks good, but it just needs something else. So we're just going to go through, make this belt blue, and then we'll add some other details here once we've got all these main colors on. Now we're going to catch some of these details. He's got all these straps here on the side. I'm going to make them black. So they're going to come down to these little areas here, and we're just going to have all these straps be black. There's so many little details in here. I'm going to do little rivets and stuff, but I think that having the black straps here is really going to make quite a difference in how this character looks. Now we're going to hit some of these details with a silver, not the gunmetal gray, just a straight silver. We're going to hit some of these buckles and things, and just kind of start adding just a few of the rivets, because this is a different silver. And so it's going to be subtle, but you will be able to tell the difference at the end of the day, that they are a different color. Right now I'm going through with this silver, and I'm hitting just these little rivets on the belt. Just these little things. Just making it so that it looks a little bit like there's just some different textures here. Some different types of metal. I'm going to do a bit of wash in a second and then go back and touch up the black, but first I'm going to make this little orb here red. All this up here is red, I want this to be red too. So I think it'll stand out a little bit more than this kind of pale greenish blue, whatever it is. So isn't it fun watching this and fast forward? Certainly makes me look like I'm a much quicker painter, doesn't it? Time for a wash. Let's dirty them up. The great thing, if you look at the back on the tanks, it really looks like the tanks have been beaten up, which is a really nice, accent for this guy. To have it look like he's, this is a suit that he's kind of put together himself. Yes, he's a scientist, but he doesn't have all the resources that we might think that he has, and he's just had to do the best he can while trying to bring his wife back to life and fighting Batman and all that good stuff. And so adding this sort of texturing can really go a long way to just making this guy pop. Remember, just shift it around. Let it get in the cracks. That's where you want it. You want to look like there's grit and grime in there. And that will allow you to tell a story with your figures of what these guys have been through. And that's the funnest part. Is just saying, yeah, this is my version of Mr. Freeze, and he fought Batman last week and fell into, some tar or something. I don't know. While he dries, I cannot just leave his weapon undone. We're gonna do the same sort of stuff with him. We're gonna dirty it up with some of the wash and then put some highlights on it. What I wanna do now is something a little bit different. I'm gonna spray some of this white just really lightly to make it look like he's got just a little bit of frost on him. That's what I'm after. Not much, just a little. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the helmet. And this one I have to be really light with. There we go. A little bit on this side. Oh, he's looking great. Now we're just gonna go through with some red. We're going to sharpen up some of these, little buttons and stuff just to make them stand out. And at that point, I think we're finished. We did it. Figure number 50, right here, Mr. Victor Freeze. Now, I ended up spraying him with a little bit of enamel just to make it so that he was a little bit shinier, a little bit more metallic. I'm really happy with all of the details. I love how I was able to spray and just get some speckles up here on his dome, and I think he just looks really great. He's ready to go on the Batman shelf. This has been such a wonderful year of just customizing figures. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I know I have. I've loved doing every single figure I've done over the last year. I kind of started this on just a whim. I thought about a character that I wanted to see that I figured would never get a toy. I made him, and that's where it began. Thank you guys for coming on this journey with me over the last 50 figures that we've done. This is super exciting for me. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, tell your friends. Just want to have fun here and make some cool figures. I'm Stephen Human. I am a novelist, so check out stephenhuman.com if you guys love sci-fi thrillers and Twilight Zone, that sort of stuff. That's what I write. And I will see you guys next week on Superhuman Customs.